they'll be loved. Jaguars are elusive.
Jaguars.
Their spots hide them among the dense forest. They often hunt at night.
Alright, good afternoon everybody. Welcome to the Africa Tram here at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. Oh, you guys see that turkey vulture flying above? That's pretty cool. Look at that. Anyways though, my name is Victor. I'm going to be your tour guide for the next 25 minutes. But let's start off with a quick volume check here. Raise your hands if you guys can hear me back there. Yeah, awesome. Oops, give me a sec. Emergencies, click on one of those straps above your heads. They'll send a message to me. I may call, get some help on the way. Those of you guys directly behind me don't have those stripes, you're out of luck. We're going to feed you to the lines at the end of the tour, so you don't need those stripes. Alright, I'm kidding. Those of you guys directly behind me are going to knock on my window or wave at me, and I'll see through my mirrors if you have medical emergencies. I'm going to pause on all the rules. Beautiful view there. And white rhinos as well. Can you guys see them lying down there? 4 of them. 4 of our 6 females that are white rhinos. Alright. I'm going to go over the rest of the rules as we're pausing and we start rolling in a sec again, but make sure you guys are staying seated while we're... And of course, use your inside voices, phones on silent, everything inside the vehicle at all times, arms, legs, hands, feet, heads, everything. Hold on to your loose items. And if you guys drop anything from the tram onto the path at any point during the tour, remember where it was you dropped it. We will try to send somebody out to retrieve your stuff once we get back. Otherwise though, continuing on here, not gonna lie. Let's see. You guys see how there's some flamingos that are standing side to side? They're not doing it as much right now, but there are some still doing it. Those are the males. What they're doing is a little mating ritual, and they are trying to find a partner now. Let's try dipping at it. Since I joined the team in June. Interesting, right? But don't worry, guys. Any minute now, those ladies will... Alrighty. Well, graded flamingos, lighter in color. Like I said, helps them blend into those salt flats that they live in out in the wild, and it also helps them reflect back sunlight and heat from the areas they're found in. We'll see those flamingos again and the giraffe in the East African habitat again once we circle back. Despite doing so, you are helping us directly in our critical to our mission of ensuring a world where all life thrives. So thank you again for being here. Beautiful day to be down here at the safari park. You guys chose a good one to come down and ride my tour specifically. I can't believe you guys would come down for that, just for me. Amazing. Check out the rent over here on our passenger side. I can't pause in this area here, but I will drive slowly. There's social like us as humans are, and also like how these birds are over on our driver's side. Through the trees and all that, you might be able to find some vultures. Some of them are vultures all hanging out together. They are very important to this world. Vultures are known as a keystone species, which means that they have a positive direct impact on the environment. Vultures are scavenger birds, as you might know. They like to eat carrion, which is a fancy word for dead things. And within that stuff will be bacteria and diseases that they can fully digest with their strong stomach acids and completely eliminate. They are very important to this world. They are like vacuum cleaners of nature. And of course they're found all over this world, not just places like Africa and Asia like those ones back there were. Even here in the Southwest, we got the native turkey vultures like the one we saw at the very, very beginning of the ride when we first loaded up and we're starting to head on out. But here we've got the South African habitat. This is part of the African Savannah Hub of the Safari Park. One of 8 different hubs this organization works with, and essentially what they are sample sizes of the focal points that our researchers go out in the wild. Is like the African forest as well. We'll see that hub on this tour as well. But overall, we'll see 3 of those hubs on it. For now, let's continue on forward and see who is out at this time of day. You know, it's so hard to get used to this time change. Keep looking at my clock, or my watch, I mean, and thinking it's already like 5, 6, that's barely 3. Insane. I'm sure the birds over on our passenger side have gotten used to it already though. Kittens and Dalmatian pelicans are back there on the left. Some more vultures somewhere in the very, very back left, I believe, as well. Red-breasted geese. having them do so. But roll on forward, check out their next door neighbors, see if they are out. Where are their neighbors? Oh, there they are in the very, very back. All right, I'm gonna just slowly drive by this area here. Look at all that moisture they need to survive just from eating plants, and they've also got a lighter coat for them, just like those flamingos we saw, that helps them reflect back all that sunlight and heat. But all right, back over on across there, we got that shaggy brown antelope. That is the water buck. There are some kids in there somewhere. Pause here for a quick sec. Water buck get their name because they like any potential dangers, like lions. They're cats. They don't like water. So water buck will hang out in it, wait them out, come back out when it's safe, and they've adapted to the water by having very oily, slick fur. Helps them repel it back. Near that center, tan back, black stripe on their sides, white underside. Springbok get their own name because of their own adaptations as well. They like to spring around as a predator, their main predator I should say, the cheetah. All the jumping around will throw off a cheetah. They won't know who to go for. Allows the springbok to have a bit of an easier escape, but you know, cheetahs are so fast they can easily catch up to them. So as long as you are not last in your herd when you're running away, you are probably safe. Alright though, you guys already saw the giraffe, right? Kind of hard not to see them when they are so tall. Has a bit darker colored fur than other giraffe species, like the reticulated or the Rothschild, for example. But they will still get just as tall as the others. Over 16 feet tall on average as full grown adults. We got the two kids there. Little boy is facing away under the shade there. Little girl's a little closer to us in front of the tree. Also facing away. And we can pause. Let me get up a little bit more so everybody in the back gets a good chance to see them. Pause right here. Giraffe have that great height for reaching leaves and all that cool stuff to eat. Also allows them to see things from far away, paired with their amazing eyesight. Allows them to see things that come from about a mile and a half away in the land, making sure everything's safe. And also maybe doing a little sleeping with their eyes open when they shut off half of their brain. The hillside there across from us, in the middle of it, there's another dark brown antelope, the sable. To the right of that herd, there are two babies. You guys see them? Lighter brown colored. Now those kids only more recently started hanging out with the rest of the herd there. With all the adults. When they were about a month and a half old or so, they were just hanging out next to trees and rocks and stuff. Got hidden from any potential threats, dangers, predators. Of course, they don't have to fear for that inside this habitat here, but they will still display those natural behaviors, which we love to promote as much as possible. With tucking away for the babies. And another thing that both antelope and deer will do is what those sable are doing right now. They're sitting and pointing different directions. That's called an alert circle, and it helps them keep eyes on everything, every which way, so nothing can sneak up on them, especially not those predators. But alrighty, let's continue on. Some more of the adult giraffe up ahead here. We got two moms, one auntie, and one uncle, alongside those two younger giraffes that are both about 7 or 8 months old now. And uncle is actually the newest member of the giraffe. Pretty funny, huh? But he's the newest member. Came to us from the Santa Barbara Zoo. He's only 4 years old. Here to hopefully do some growing up, and I'm sure you can fill in the blanks. Oh, you know what? Let me pause right here. In fact, probably the rarest. It is the Somali wild ass. That one. But there is an estimate of maybe around Somalia. There is a lot of civil unrest going on, unfortunately, and that has contributed immensely to their decline as resources are low, stuff like that. Human life isn't thriving, neither is the wildlife. There will always be a connection within that. But the ones you see here, have enough of them here someday to be able to reintroduce them safely and securely back out into Somalia. We'll continue on forward. There is one more antelope over on our driver's side. And the oryx family, including this one here, is a distant cousin of the addax, that white antelope we saw at the very beginning. Notice on the sides of the faces they got stripes that run up because their horns there connects to them, makes their horns look bigger. Not to our eyes, but makes them look bigger. It's called a threat mask. It is there to help them. Or not, but that grass there is taken care of by the horticulture department here, and they would not be very happy if they saw that their plants were being ripped away. I'm not joking either. I did plant that one in 2020 when I was working with the hort team. In fact, a lot of the stuff you guys see around the edges here, I planted myself. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, so this is now the Central African habitat. I can't pause. Got the wildebeest. There are 3 kids in there somewhere as well. Also around 7 or 8 months old, same age. If you've seen The Lion King, you are pretty familiar with wildebeest. They get a bad rep because of Mufasa dying. It's not the wildebeest that killed them though. Remember, it was Scar that pushed them off the cliffside. Rowan antelope. If you notice on his face, he's also got a threat mask. There it is. In the center of that bridge there, because that is the best view in all of Safari Park in my opinion. And as you'll notice here, it overlooks the 2 habitats there between the valley. Beautiful view. You won't stay for too long, but at the same time over on our passenger side we have the second of the 3 hubs of this tour, the African forest. And up near the fence, more of an orange-brown colored fern, not exactly red, helps them blend into the greenery of the African forest. You might be wondering how that is, because greens and reds and oranges don't mix together. We have 3 cones in our eyes. The lions, instead of seeing greens and reds for what they are instead going to see it more as brown, yellow kind of mixture, maybe a little bit gray as well. So they will have to rely more on their sense of smelling and hearing to traverse those areas and find their prey, as they are senses of smelling and hearing. Now, there is one more antelope in here somewhere, I think. There's one more in here named the Ugandan cob that is probably hidden away between some of the valleys. That is alright. Ugandan cob are also the same color as those red lights way back there, and essentially I would have just told you the same story once more. But alright, we'll continue forward. And actually, we are right into a good talking space for the third of the 3 hubs. It's actually what has been around us this entire loop here. Everything you guys see across these mountains, especially what is directly next to us over on our passenger side, this is all the southwest habitat, part of the country, of course, here, the southwest of the U.S. It is the second most endangered habitat in the country, actually. Second to the Hawaiian rainforest, but it's full of different plants like these laurel sumacs right here, the taco-shaped leaves on them, coastal sage scrub, but its decline has a lot to do with all the land development that's gone on throughout the years, here all the way down to Baja. Of course, developing land has become a necessity for humans of sorts, and it's how we have learned to progress and adapt to different areas and changes. And building housing, hospitals, things like that is necessary, of course, but here at the Safari Park, although we are 1,800 acres of space in total, we only use about half of 1,700 acres, or 1,800 acres, I mean, and fit 17 Disneylands in it. So, we only use half of that for the park itself. The rest of that is bioreserve, which again you'll notice across these mountains. Left that way for 2 reasons. 1, so we don't contribute to the habitat loss, and 2, to provide homes for all the native animals of this land, like that turkey vulture we saw flying around earlier, or any of the birds that you see flying around throughout the day. Them, the mule deer, birds, bees, bats. Alright, the final stretch right here. On our passenger side up ahead here, we've got the wapiti deer, that more lighter gray color. A male Nile lechwe, that darker brown one there. There's another one in the back. Are a sacred animal within their culture. One more animal over on our passenger side, actually one of my personal favorites of this habitat. Those are the Cape buffalo. Fight back against entire prides of lions if they need to, especially to protect all of their kids. 2, of course, they are bigger. And 3, they have darker fur color. Now, water buffalo here with these capes, their horns do connect at the top of their heads. It makes them look like cool mustaches that curl upwards. Water buffalo horns do not connect at the top of their heads like that, but let's go see. This giraffe and all of them are still out for us over. Coming up past these trees here on the right, there's going to be a hillside area. It's the resting point for some of our paid tours, but that space here is called the Monty Point. the very top of that hill there on our right, you see some people standing above there? That is where our founder, Dr. Charles Schroeder, used to bring people that he worked with from the San Diego Zoo to the very top up there. He'd bring them to the Wildlife Reserve / Research Center here on these grounds. And those people thought he was crazy initially. So it took roughly about 10 years of trying to convince them until he finally said okay to his plan and construction started. We officially opened our doors to the public and very fortunate to partner up with, but of course none of that stuff would be possible without the help of you guys, because we are a non-profit, and like I said earlier, just by stepping through one of the 2 front doors of this organization, you are helping us directly, and we're still working on that one. Anyway, so we at the Safari Park are one of those metaphorical front doors, and our sister park, the San Diego Zoo, is the other one. By show of hands, how many of you guys have been to the San Diego Zoo? You got some of you back there? Oh yeah, we got a lot of you. Very good. We don't have pandas like the zoo does, but we've got the platypus out here, and honestly, the platypus going up to our Australia walkabout section and checking them out before the park closes. We still got some time. As we got more of the rodents up here, these are all females and their kids, and of course, so nothing's confirmed as of right now. What's going on there? Again, nothing's confirmed. I didn't say this. Oh, the southern white rhinos up ahead there at the feeder. Now remember earlier I mentioned how southern white rhinos are very social, much like us humans? Well, they are so social to the point where the females can completely shut down their reproductive system, will not crash of rhinos. That's what that is referred to as. Interesting there, but that discovery was made by this organization, helped us out in the 70s.
You can see those cows in my room.
In fact, as it is, and I like to brag about this one, we were the first zoo to successfully breed southern white rhinos back in the 70s. Once upon a time, the southern white rhino species was strange or so. That is all not because of us specifically, but through the efforts of many different zoos all across the world who work. Thank you for coming down today. You still got some time to jump back in line, go on another tour if you like. Our line closes in about 30 minutes. But if not, have fun exploring the rest of the park. Go check out those platypus like I said. Stay safe. And we will see you again soon. Have a good one.
It always hurts. There's never not a time ever.